Hey, good afternoon, class. Bear with me here. Not a huge video person, but the experiment that I chose to break down is the Tuskegee experiment. The first question asks what NASW evaluation and research ethical standards were violated for the participants. A big one was informed consent for this one, They were not fully informed of what they were getting themselves into, but they also did not give full informed consent for what they were doing. There were a lot of risks, and the fact that they were being denied treatment for syphilis, even though they were told they were going to get free drugs and a lot of things like that, were a very huge ethical violation. Another one was protection against harm. I believe at some point in the video, they basically explained that patients were basically being stabbed with a lot of pain in their back, which does not protect them from harm in any way. That's another huge ethical standard. And also the respect for privacy and confidentiality. While the participants were being studied, their personal health information and the diagnosis of syphilis was not kept confidential. So that was another huge aspect right there. And there's plenty of other ones that it goes into as far as equity and fairness and things like that. Now, to address these ethical issues, for starters, researchers should have ensured that all participants provided voluntary informed consent to take part in this study. They should have provided clear and understandable information for what they were getting themselves into. You can't just say, hey, we're going to give you free drugs to experiment on you without putting that into documentation and also explaining the other small effects, such as they started giving them placebos and things like that. That's another big form, which was deception right there, because they were not truthful for what they were doing. You also have to ensure protection from harm. They should have provided appropriate medical care for any conditions for the different participants. They should have ensured that they were not exposed to any unnecessary harm, which as we saw, they were, and other aspects such as that. And just to wrap this up, to touch on the article that we had to read this week, we read about John Brown and how a doctor had him enslaved and was basically Frankensteining the man and was trying to dig into his skin to prove that black skin was more tough than white skin. And then they have the nerve to also put in the article that that's why black people would make great slaves, because we were able to be doing forced labor outside in better conditions because of that. But another part of that article that really shook me as far as ethical concerns was when they addressed how the doctor was basically cutting and recutting and reopening African-American women's vaginal areas because they were trying to test to see how strong they were. That's very diabolical to me, and I think that is a huge ethical issue. I didn't even know about some of those things, so it was interesting to learn about them, and I hope you guys enjoyed learning about it as well. And that's my take this week. So hope you guys have a great week, and yeah, stay up.